Like, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. We're not buddies. I'm not putting myself in situations that I know I shouldn't be putting myself in. I forgive you. I love you, but I do need to separate myself.
Right.
There can't be reconciliation. We can't go back to the way things were.
Right.
Because a line has been crossed. Welcome back to Seriously Sis Podcast. And what are we talking about today, Julia?
Well, we were having a discussion off camera, as we do, on the idea of whether forgiveness always means reconciliation. And I guess we want to kind of unpack that, probably figure it out as we go,
Yes.
on when it does and when it doesn't, if it should always or if it shouldn't. So since I introduced the topic, which is not my job, I'm passing it back on over to you.
Oh, wonderful. So when I'm thinking, should it always mean reconciliation? I think it really just depends.
I think the nice part of me wants to say, I hope it always ends in reconciliation. But the realist in me wants to say, it doesn't always, right?
No, of course not. I don't even think biblically that lines up either, but go ahead.
Well, thinking about that word should, right? This is the grammarian in me, because words have meaning, in case you didn't know. The word should is really telling a lot. And I think that there are some people who have the mindset that forgiveness should always end in reconciliation. And I don't think so, because there are a lot of variables to consider, which is why it changes situation to situation on whether it should or not. Forgiveness is something that the believer is called to do regardless.
Right.
It's not really up for negotiation, And the reason for that, I'm probably going to step on a little bit of toes when I say this. I hear people say that forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I think that forgiveness is our opportunity to be like our dad because he forgave us. And yes, was that forgiveness for us? Totally. But I think that the forgiveness can be both ways. Yes, you should learn something in it, but it's not just about, I'm forgiving you so that I get something. That's a very selfish way to look at that, and I don't think that that's accurate. And I also think sometimes when you forgive someone, especially someone who's not asking for forgiveness, you might not get anything out of that.
Right.
You might be offering them grace in a way that they don't appreciate. So we can't wrap our mind around forgiveness as being for us and not for them. But sometimes that forgiveness does not come with, now we're back on good terms like we were, because that person has to also be on board with reconciliation. And sometimes people just cross lines. And once certain lines are crossed, for your well-being, for the well-being of people around you, or maybe even for their own learning, the time is not today to be going back to business as usual. In my mind, are there circumstances where, yeah, maybe, sure, but all the time, I think is a dangerous thing to say and to tell someone.
I think being able to reconcile, though, be the kind of person that consistently does reconcile, is such a strength to be able to be that person. But you hit something that, as soon as you asked, should we always reconcile? There are some things that you just don't, they're not, reconcilable.
Yes.
Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's some things that it just doesn't work like that. And I'm going to use an example. And I've used this example before, so don't be surprised.
Okay.
If you're dating someone and he's beating the crap out of you and you move on, you forgive him, there's probably not going to be reconciliation there.
Probably not.
Probably not. It just doesn't seem logical. If someone harms your child and you forgive them, I don't see Michael reconciling with them. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
Knowing him.
I don't see you doing it either.
Probably not. But what I'm saying is there are some things that you don't reconcile. It just doesn't make sense. If you that's no different than when you're hanging out with people and you're in a bad environment and you remove yourself from that. And it's no different. Like, I'm not hanging out with you anymore. We're not buddies. I'm not putting myself in situations that I know I shouldn't be putting myself in. I forgive you. I love you, but I do need to separate myself.
Right.
There can't be reconciliation. We can't go back to the way things were.
Right.
Because a line has been crossed.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's also the assumption that, but when you say that we should reconcile, that the other person has owned up to their end of whatever went wrong. Because I can go into a situation and tell you that I forgive you. You've wronged me in some way. And I'm forgiving you because that's what I'm called to do. Also, because I'm not going to let that just weigh on me for the rest of my life. But it doesn't mean that you have realized that you need to be forgiven. What if the view that you have on whatever the situation is that I wasn't wrong? How do you reconcile that? Because our view on something is still at odds. So you're making the assumption that both parties have come to the agreement that whatever was done was wrong and we're both moving forward. One person might only be moving forward, and I can't pull you along. I think one of the reasons why we try to say that is because Christians are told to be peacemakers, right?
Right.
And that's biblical. Blessed are the peacemakers. But I like to follow that up with this. When Jesus was sending the disciples out to preach, he told them to go out and look for a person of peace and stay with that person. And wherever you are, release your peace. And if there is a person of peace there, your peace will remain. But if there's not, your peace will return to you and keep on going. There's got to be someone there to receive said peace. If it's not a peaceful situation, you can't force someone to come along. You might not be the one who's against reconciliation. Maybe it's them. But my point is that we're only responsible for us and what we do. So I can't force you to be of the same mindset that I'm in. I can't force you to forgive me for what my wrong may have been. And I can't force you to see it in a different way. So reconciliation takes two people, not just one person. So there's that. But the second part of that is exactly what you said. Sometimes when you cross a line, you can't go back. I can love you, and I should, but is it wise for me to put myself, my emotions, my family in danger for where I know you still are? That's crazy, because now we're telling ourselves not to use the wisdom and discernment God has given us to be able to see where that person is at and navigate that situation appropriately.
Right. I think one thing I do want to say is that reconciliation, though, do you think there's a level of when you're not willing to reconcile, when you don't think you should? Maybe I don't want to say anything's minor because everyone's different, but let's say in my brain it's minor. You have a disagreement. You're not on the same page with someone. You have an argument, things get heated, maybe say some things you probably shouldn't have said. And then you apologize, forgiveness, but you don't reconcile the relationship. You don't want to befriend. Do you think there's a level of unforgiveness in that? Like, hey, I'm saying I'm forgiving you. I'm going to say that. It's so easy to say, I forgive you, Julia. Right. I do. And then I see you next week at work. I see you next week at church. I see you next week wherever. And I'm going to treat you differently. The relationship's not going to be the same. I'm not going to treat you with the same maybe care that I originally did. I'm not going to really try to invest in this relationship anymore. Is that a level of unforgiveness that's causing that not to be reconciled?
I think it can be. But I think just like what we've been saying, it just depends on the situation. Because it could be unforgiveness. It could be that I've forgiven you verbally.
To this extent.
Right. But I really haven't in my heart. I'm still hurt about whatever it was. And I'm allowing that to navigate the way that I navigate. It could be. It could also be because we don't really handle awkward well. And like after we've had like a really heated or awkward conversation, we don't know how to like go back,
Smooth it over.
you know? And I think that happens just as much as the unforgiveness. I've seen it, you know, ruin relationships because it's just like, man, this happened. Now I don't know how to talk to this person anymore. Well, you knew how to talk to them 2 weeks ago. Go back to that. So I think it can be unforgiveness. I think sometimes we lie and say that we're past things that we're not past.
Right.
But I think sometimes it can just be awkward. And sometimes I think space might be required for a season. Your relationship might absolutely be reconcilable, but maybe you need 3 days to like really process through what has happened. I'm a
3
processor.
years.
3 years is a lot. I mean, unless this person came and burned your house down, like 3 years is a lot.
It's going to take a little bit more than 3 years.
But I mean, I think there could be a plethora of reasons why the relationship doesn't go back to normal after you've forgiven each other. But you do have to ask yourself, and you can only ask yourself that question, have I really forgiven this person? Because if I have, then my love for them doesn't change.
Right.
If I haven't, it might. And if it's weird, I'm one of those kind of people, I just like to call the thing, be like, hey, so this is awkward, but I feel like we need to do this. I'm just that person. I can be awkward and upfront about it and hope that you'll sit there with me in that awkward space. But if I love you and I want our relationship back, I'll do it.
So it's funny that you say that because I'm kind of the same way when it comes to the awkwardness after something. I actually had this happen recently where when I walked in the room, me and the person made eye contact and immediately I could tell in their body language, in their face, it was just like, oh God, like, what am I going to do? That's what the look was. And I was like, okay, for a second there, I was like, I don't care, whatever. I'm going to leave it alone because I could care less, And then I thought, and I took a second and I was like, no, let's go fix this. Like, let's go sit down. And I'm not the one that's like going to say, hey, this is weird. I'm just going to start talking to you like normal. We're going to just have, and I'm going to make you feel comfortable. So I think we're very similar in that sense. No need to make it weird. We're just going to, bulldoze our way through this. We're going to talk. Yeah. We're going to talk. We're just going to, and by the end of it, that individual was talking to me, laughing, acting like themselves. But I noticed in that first second when they saw my face, it was like, oh God, where can I hide? Like, where's there somewhere I can go? And it was one of those, hey, people that you're close with. Hey, that's not a hello. What is that? Hey.
The heck?
Like, keep your chin to yourself. Like,
yeah.
what's that about?
Because if you ever hit me with one of those, I'm calling you out immediately.
You good?
Yeah, like, you got a problem? But, and I'm glad that you're more of a professional than me because I would address it by saying, wow, this is really awkward. So maybe we should just fix this. Like, that's just how my brain works.
Just like, let's just start talking through this. Like, let's just start talking. I'll start making this less and less intimidating. And then eventually we'll be back to the foundation we need to be at and we can just keep going.
And that's why you have the job that you have.
Yes.
Because you're good at it.
Awkward is my thing, I guess.
I'm not good at it. I'm really good for just being honest. Hey, so last week, that conversation that we had kind of went left. I really didn't want it to go that way. I feel like we're not good. Can we talk about it? That's me.
And I'm more like, for some reason, your eyebrows keep looking at me crazy from across the room. You good? Everything all right?
Yeah, but that's throwing hands, Madison. That's a different Madison.
But anyways.
But I think also from a positional standpoint, like we've talked relationally, right?
Yeah.
A lot. And I think that's where it happens the most. But sometimes when we're quick to forgive, not quick to forgive, you should always be quick to forgive. Sometimes when we're quick to move on without any real change or real repentance, really is the word, we can cause casualties that had we just taken a second, wouldn't have happened. So what do I mean by that? If you have this idea that forgiveness should always mean reconciliation, what if the person that you are forgiving, as you should, is in a leadership position over a bunch of people? And you've forgiven them for something that they did wrong, which you should do, but then you immediately put them back into that position. There's been no growth, no change, nothing. They may not even see that the thing that they were held accountable for was wrong. If you have that mindset, more people are about to get hurt.
Yeah.
And so, again, should you forgive them? Yes. Should reconciliation be on the table? Absolutely. But when we think, okay, everybody said I'm sorry, now let's move on, like it didn't just happen 10 minutes ago, I think that's dangerous. And I think as leaders, we have to be mindful of that.
And I think there's a thing that happens, especially in the church, where we try to minimize everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was tiny. Everything was small. Like, you're blowing things out of proportion. Like, this is not huge, as big as it is. And when you do that, it makes it to where you're not giving people the opportunity to reconcile things,
Mm-hmm.
because they have an issue. Maybe they have a problem and they came to you about the problem, and they're giving you grace, they're giving you forgiveness, and you're, oh, they're being dramatic. Oh, they're this, they're that. Well, now I don't want to reconcile with you because you're clearly not on the same page.
Right.
Clearly, things that are not acceptable, you're minimizing them.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make me want to reconcile. That
Right.
makes me want to say, okay, I see who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go with that. I always tell my kids, and I was talking to Kessa about this with her, some people she's talked to about dating, and I told her, like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Like, and if I forgive you and everything, but you've shown me who you are, and there is no repentance, there's no change, you're okay with the behavior, you think it's acceptable, you
Mm-hmm.
think it's okay, how can I reconcile with you?
Right.
How can we continue down this path, and how can we build a relationship deeper when I know mentally, spiritually, emotionally, you're not on the level that you need to be on?
Mm-hmm.
And I personally, I don't want to say I don't have the patience, because I have a lot of patience. I don't have the desire to play in the sandbox with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to do that.
Sure.
So we can be cordial. I can love you at a distance, but we're not going to be buddies,
Sure.
because iron is not sharpening iron here. That's not what's happening. You're dulling me,
Right.
and I don't want to be there.
Right. And I think the thing is like you'll find two different types of people. One will be very hyper grace, right? Which is what we've been talking about. And then you'll have one that's very cut them off. We're
Forget about
done.
'em.
Like they're dead to me kind
They
of.
never existed.
Yeah. And I think that's wrong too, right?
Oh, that's definitely wrong.
I think that we have to give people an opportunity to show us something differently. But in giving them that opportunity, it doesn't mean that you also give them full access.
Yeah, yeah.
You can always be open to someone rising to the occasion and showing you, and I'm talking about like after repeated offenses, not just one
Right.
thing. This is the first time we've ever, just forgive them and move on, right? But if someone has shown you a pattern of doing certain things, it is okay to both forgive them and be open to reconciliation at some point. Like, show me,
Right.
because we would just be irresponsible to continue to give people unfettered access to us all the time, knowing what we know.
Mhm.
So you can give opportunity for reconciliation and have the grace to allow them to grow without putting your heart and everything else on the chopping block to do so.
Mm.
I think that it doesn't have to be one or the other. I think that you can do both, but you need to have wisdom in how you do it. There
Right.
are certain circumstances, when you cross a line, I know that we can never go back to how we used to be because of whatever the thing was.
Right.
But there are other things where it's just like, maybe I know that you're struggling in this season of your life for whatever reason, and it's causing you to do something that is typically out of character. I can have grace for the fact that I know you lost someone. Let's say someone died and you're really struggling with that. And because of that, it's causing you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. I can still protect myself by not allowing you to stomp on my heart because you're treating me a particular way. but understand also at the same time that you're going through this thing right now that is causing you to act this way. So I'm leaving the door open. I'm leaving the door open to reconciliation. And when you are ready, come find me. Come find me. I'm not going to pull you here. You're not ready. You're dealing with all the things that you're dealing with. So the door is open, but I'm not forcing you to walk through it. And I think sometimes we don't do that. I think it's one or the other. I think it's either forgiveness, immediate, and reinstalling this person to that position, whether it's a friend or it's a job position or whatever it is, or we're completely cut off, get out of my life. I really don't like to be the you're completely cut off, get out of my life kind of person. That's just not my heart. But I will set a boundary until you show me something different if I have to.
I think that when you're talking about people being able to forgive and reconcile and whatnot, and people going through things in life, that please let's not act like we've never been that person.
Right.
Yeah, let's not act like we've never been given grace when we absolutely did not deserve it. Everybody has things they walk through. Everybody has moments. I've had moments where I've even had moments at work. I'm usually really good about it, but I've had moments where someone says something to me and I absolutely snapped at them, and then after the fact I said, you know, I just did everything I've taught you not to do. Let me go and apologize. Let me go and let them know, hey, I could have approached that a completely different way. I think that before we think that someone is beneath us to try to fix it, beneath us to forgive or beneath us to go forward, maybe just take a second to take a gander in the mirror and say, is that me? Like, am I the person that is doing, have I done this before? Like, what are they going through in life? They're human, just like I'm human. Like, we're all supposed to be Christians, but life does happen.
Right.
And people handle things at different levels. They really do, right? Not everyone can handle everything at the same. So do you take a second and say, okay, I'm giving them grace, one, because I love them, but I also know what they're going through.
Right.
So I do think that this is mendable. I think that we can fix this. I do think he or she needs some moments, some time, and then we'll fix it from there. I think that for me, I'm so the opposite. We're going to fix this immediately. And I want you to know, like, the reason I'm like that is just because jobs that I've had, I'm usually the person that I'm going to come to you to correct you. That's what I have to do. I have to correct you. I have to hold you accountable. I have to put pressure. These are things that I do. And so when I come in and I see you the next day, you're probably not going to want to talk to me. You're going to be over in the corner. You're going to be avoiding me, no eye contact, whatever it may be. And I make it a point. Oh, we're going to fix this right now. I'm going to go sit down with this person. I'm going to have a talk with them. I can see they're avoiding me. I can see that they're still having some feelings about this. Let me go and make this less awkward for them because it ain't awkward for me. So even in my life, when things happen, I'm the same way. Like, nah, let's go fix this.
And see, for me, it depends. It depends on the situation, because I am very much I will give you your space kind of person.
You get no space with me. That's why Julia will never have the opportunity.
No, but
calling her on the phone. What's going on? What's wrong?
I'm not going to give you space when I know that a conversation will fix the problem.
Right.
I'm not going to allow for there to be opportunity for things to go unsaid to the point that nothing can be said now to fix it, or can be done to fix it. I'm not going to allow that. But I know me. And sometimes when I'm mad, doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes when I'm mad, I need you to leave me alone for a second. Because I got to process through how I feel. And when I say process through how I feel, I don't just mean identifying the fact that I'm mad. I mean, am I mad for a justifiable reason? Like, these are the conversations I'm having in my mind. Okay, I know that I'm mad. Am I right? Is this something worth dying over? Killing a relationship over? If I give myself 3 days, will I be okay? Like, those kinds of things are the things I'm asking myself about me before I even get to the person. I'm asking about me. am I good or what's the date? Like all these questions that I'm asking myself because I need to know. I'm just a processor. You know this, I overthink. But because I do that, when I get to have that conversation, I can have it level-headed.
Right.
Because I've had a chance to process. So since I'm like that, I know that I'm not the only one in the world who's like that. I have a tendency to give people space for a time.
Yeah.
But what we're not going to do is make this be 6 months down the road.
And you're stringing along and holding on to it. And then eventually something little happens and you blow the heck up because something tiny, because you were holding on to something that you should have been
Exactly.
just talking it through.
Exactly. Or someone that I love very much that has been a constant in my life is no longer in my life because what? We won't talk to each other? That's craziness to me. So like, I'll give you your space. I need mine. Like, I like it when people respect the fact that, like, I just need a second.
I can't. I won't give you your space.
Well, we've not crossed that bridge yet, I don't think. So guess we'll find out. Stay tuned.
We're going to fix this today. Like right now.
She'll be trying to fix it and I'll be trying to hide.
I'm like, Julia, what are you doing?
Julia's not here. Please leave a message after the beep.
I'm like, listen, we got to fix this right now because there's no reason we should be doing this. I think my problem is if I don't do it then, I won't do it because tomorrow I'll wake up and I'll be like, eh.
And see, that's what you have me for.
I'm
because
like, who cares?
Tomorrow you'll be over it. And then tomorrow I'll be in a place to talk, so I'll bring it up.
And see, and she knows because I'm sure she's seen me do it multiple times where I'm really passionate. I'm like, okay, we need to get this, not anger, just like very and I'll have good stuff to say, like it's good. And then 24 hours will pass and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, and she's really hot or cold. She's not lukewarm on this particular subject because it'll be Tuesday and I'll talk to her about it and she's like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And then Wednesday comes along and she's like, I don't really feel that way anymore. I'm just like, girl, I was ready to charge in the battle with you. Now what? I guess we've got to go to dinner or something. We ain't got nothing else to do.
I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know what we were even going to talk about at this point. I've done by this point. I've put the kids to bed. I've made dinner. I've dealt with my teenagers' attitudes. I've done work, and now we're here. I'm not even concerned about this.
Me, on the other hand, I ain't got no kids or teenage attitudes to deal with, so I've had time to process.
Yeah, I don't need
look at it from all angles.
I process really well in the moment, and then once the moment's gone, I'm like, whatever.
But either way, whether you are a processor or not, we should all be quick to forgive.
That's right. Yeah.
That is a precedence that I think God showed. And we become more like him when we forgive like him, because none of us deserves forgiveness or grace from God, who is perfect. He don't ever mess this thing up. So anytime it goes south, it's us. But he forgives us. He calls us to be like him by doing that for other people. So we should be quick to forgive, but I think we should be discerning on whether to or how quickly to reconcile. I'm not saying it should be off the table. Definitely not saying it should be off the table. But make sure that the outcome of said reconciliation is going to be good and not disastrous.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure that you're not reconciling because of pride.
Right.
And because that's, if you can reconcile, if you can, you should. If you can, why not?
Yeah, of course.
If you, like, I know there's a ton of people in the world. There's not a lot of people that you can go deep with.
Right.
And you can build these relationships with. And the only way you get deep and you get in relationships is when an offense happens, when something that happens that you need to forgive, is that you do reconcile and you continue to dig deeper. Like it would be dumb to say that I'm never going to make you mad.
Right.
I'm never going to say something out of pocket that's going to hurt your feelings.
And if you know us, it's probably going to happen.
Right. That, I'm never going to make you mad. Like it'd be dumb to say that. And the first time I make you mad, or when I make you mad, if your response is, I forgive her, but I think I'm going to need to distance. I think I'm going to need to make space. I'm not ready to reconcile. I don't want to, we're not going to be where we were right now. Well, we're not going to get very far if we keep playing the 2 steps up, 2 steps back, 2
Right.
steps up, 3 steps up. You know, it's not going to work. So if you can reconcile, and it's possible, and you see the growth in the person, you know their heart, you should. Because if you're not, if they've asked you to forgive them, you've seen growth, you see that they're being genuine, and you still choose not to reconcile, you might have some pride issues.
Yeah. And last time I checked, that cometh before the fall. So you might want to. You might
Not
want to.
cometh before the fall.
That's the King James version. You might want to get that figured out very quickly, because that then becomes a me problem and not a them problem.
Yes.
And if we're checking hearts,
Zimeth problem. Is that the King James version?
Themeth is crazy. I hope it's in there. I'm going to go find it now and see if I can find Themeth.
Zimeth.
I'm going to start texting you like that.
So, funny story. Whenever Michael was getting his, I don't want to say it was his first Bible ever, but it was his first Bible since, like, I don't know, like me and him had got back together. He got in church. He ordered a Bible. He's all excited. And he brings this Bible over to me. And I look at it. I said, Michael, why did you buy this Bible? He's like, what do you mean? I said, it's the King James version. He said, it's the best version. I said, it's like reading Shakespeare. Like, why would you pick this? He's like, nah, it's going to be good. And I don't know, maybe a week later, Amazon dropped off a package. Open it up. What? I don't know. What English Standard? NIV. New,
ESV.
Is it ES? No, it's NIV, I think is what he has. The New International Version. Is that what it is?
Sure. I don't know.
Anyways, just thought when you said
It was
King James
too
version.
many thines and thous in there for him.
I guess so.
I get that.
I looked
don't
at
read
that.
one
I didn't
either.
even open it. I just looked at it. I said, why would you buy the King James version? That's very interesting. Like, I feel like I'm not advanced enough to be reading the King James version yet. Okay.
No, I need regular English, please.
So at some point, maybe we'll be there. The thys and thous.
Nah,
But
there's just certain things that stick, like cometh. That just that sticks, you know. But some of the other stuff, I don't know what y'all talking about. Please give me a dumber translation, because I can't with that one.
I cannot. No, that just made me think of that.
No, that's good. But yeah, be quick to forgive.
Yes.
Use your brain, and more importantly, your spirit, to discern reconciliation, but be open to it.
Yeah.
I think that's the takeaway.
We all suck, to be honest.
At some point, yes, we do.
Most of the time.
I'm pretty great, but no, I'm kidding.
And that says it all. Well, I don't have anything else.
That's that pride you were talking about. Let's get off of this before I have to repent, okay?
Okay.
Bye, guys.